Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Eagles versus Chargers post-game immediate reaction show. I'm your host today because Dibes has abandoned us,
He
much like
had
the
the
Eagles
beans.
defense abandoned their team today. So I'm your host, Shane Haft. You can follow me on Twitter at @halfandhalf_TPL. I'm joined today again by Ty Book. You guys give him a follow on Twitter at TyBook3. Ty, kick us off today. What's your initial impression as the Eagles fall 27-24 on a last-minute field goal to the Chargers?
Uh, all in all, I was really disappointed in the first two offensive drives of the game. Outside of that, I was really happy with the offense. The defense, though, I cannot get a grip on the fact that we can't stop anything. I mean, it's miserable. The tight ends really beat us up early in the game. Late in the game, it just seemed like our defensive back Slay goes down with an injury. Don't get me wrong, but late in the game, it just looked like Herbert could do what he wanted when he wanted to do it, and never felt any pressure. I don't think he went on his back once today, and those aren't, that's not a prescription for success for the Eagles.
Yeah, on the year as a whole, right now, the Eagles are allowing a 75% completion percentage with a
I was going to
16 to
ask you.
6. Yeah,
I
16 to 6 touchdown to interception ratio and 103 quarterback rating.
I was going to ask you tonight. I knew we were going to be on here watching Herbert, and last week's kind of an anomaly. I mean, the Lions are really bad, but going from Carr to Herbert, I mean, 11 straight completions for Herbert at one point today. I get the bend don't break philosophy. I really do, but I don't get the we're going to give you everything you want to take until we're to the 15-yard line and give you 3 points. Like, that's not bend don't break. That's bend and then score. So I'm at a loss.
Yeah, the Chargers never punt on the day. In fact, the only two times, I believe, the only two possessions that didn't end in points for the Chargers both ended on a failed fourth down attempt.
That's correct.
So I'm going to run the stats later because I want to see if we take what the Eagles have allowed for the year. Like, where would that rank among NFL passers in terms of passer rating, yards, completion percentage, all that? I've got to believe it's like top in the league, but I'll have to wait until all of today's games are done and logged before I can run those stats. But yeah, Justin Herbert goes here. I can put the stats up on the screen. Justin Herbert goes 32 of 38 for 356 yards, 2 touchdowns. He is not sacked on the day. Jalen Hurts goes 11 of 17 for 162 yards with a touchdown. He takes 1 sack. And, it's a shame the drive that Hurts engineered down the field that ends with the touchdown, the pass to Devontae Smith, was just honestly probably the best drive of Jalen Hurts' NFL career. He has the flip for the first down. He's got Bosa coming free off of the edge, and he manages to get out of that and pick up a first down, puts it in the end zone with his arm, and then he just never gets back on the field. The defense is unable to get a stop, which was just kind of the story of the day.
Yep. I I love watching this type of offensive football from the Eagles, though. I get frustrated every now and again because they're running the ball effectively, and then all of a sudden you see Jalen Hurts in the backfield by himself, and I just think that's so counterproductive. Now they ran a couple of draws, or if you want to call them QB powers, whatever you want to do, but he looks really comfortable on play fake passes. I mean, he really does. He did a nice job with it today. Now they're running the ball effectively, so that makes that whole situation easier. But I liked what I saw from them offensively. Defensively, though, oh my goodness, it just I just didn't think it was possible to be worse than Jim Schwartz has been the last 2 years. I just didn't think it was possible, and it is. It's really bad. I ache for the days of an Eagles defense that is feared, because they are obviously not, and they continue to make quarterbacks look like Hall of Famers. Justin Herbert, I was impressed. He's a nice quarterback, but I don't know that he looked like Tom Brady today against us, and that's more about us than him.
Yeah, I do think I think I'm very high on Justin Herbert. I think he's one of the better young quarterbacks in the NFL, but that's the playing the Eagles effect a little bit as well. I mean, you play the Eagles, you're going to have a great game unless your name's Jared Goff. We got Julio chiming in off Facebook, says fire Gannon ASAP. I don't disagree. I'm over Gannon. I think it's time for a change there on the defensive side. There's more talent on this defense than there was last year.
Yeah.
And the defense did not look this bad. And I know by design, you want to play that split field safety look. You want to play that bend but don't break defense. And at a certain point, you just have to realize that's not working because we can't ever get off of the field. And they changed it up last week a little bit against the Lions. And of course, they were playing Jared Goff, and so you can do that. But they just went right back to it. And I'm just tired of watching it.
Yeah, they abandoned everything they did well last week on the defensive side of the football. I really I'm just past bend don't break. That isn't what you see in teams that are in the playoffs. Fine, at the end of the game when you're up by 20 points, if you want to play bend don't break, absolutely. That's when you play that defense. That's when you play sticks. That's when you play prevent. They need to create pressure. I mean, there's two second-year quarterbacks playing today, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Hurts was under pressure a lot early in the game. Once they got the running game going, it was a little less. But Herbert was never in distress, not one time today, and just picked them apart. I mean, he really did.
The Eagles had one QB hit on the day. Do you know who logged it?
Oh shoot! I even made a note of it.
Steven Nelson.
That's right. Yeah.
All the money the Eagles have invested on the defensive line, and our lone quarterback
hit. Maddox. I knew it was a D-back, but I didn't want to say the wrong D-back.
And of course, that hurts for the Eagles too. You have Avonte Maddox leaves the game early with an injury. Darius Slay leaves it late, and so down two of your top three corners. Avonte Maddox having an underrated, really good year.
Agreed.
That certainly hurts you. But with the body of work considered, I'm not willing to give the benefit of the doubt to Jonathan Gannon and the defense on that one.
No, I'm with you there. I thought that in general, a couple of defensive players stood out a little bit. I thought Epps made a couple of really nice plays early in the game. I thought TJ Edwards filled better. He is a linebacker if he could cover at all. If he had any coverage skills, he's at least the one NFL linebacker they have. But he doesn't have any coverage skills, so they don't have an NFL linebacker.
And I tweeted out a couple of plays. I thought that Davion Taylor had a couple of moments that he looked good.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But it's just not consistent. I mean, he had the one play that I tweeted out that he's on the tight end in zone coverage, and then Eckler leaks out of the backfield, and as soon as Herbert starts to throw, he clicks and closes. He makes a great tackle for a loss. Great play. It's just not consistent for him.
He really reminds me of Brandon Graham really early in his career. And hopefully that progression happens, that he turns into Brandon Graham, because we're missing Brandon Graham right now. I don't think they're not the same position. It just, he reminds me a lot of that when Brandon Graham first came out of Michigan. The first 2 years of his career were very quiet. They weren't huge. We were playing him out of position. And I'm hoping Davion Taylor kind of falls into that.
Yeah, agreed. And those of you that are watching us live, be sure and drop us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about the game here as we just process through the emotions of the close loss. But Ty, so Jalen Hurts on the day, he goes 11 of 17 passing for 162 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He takes 1 sack. He adds 62 yards on the ground on 10 rushing attempts. What grade would you give Jalen Hurts for his performance today?
I give him a B. He's managing the game well. I don't think he's the answer down the road. I really don't. I think I've said that on this post-game show before. But in this format where they're going to run the football and really push that issue, I think he's a great option for them. They're running a high school offense right now. Mm-hmm. They really are. And they can be good with a high school offense where they're not going to follow the NFL trend of we're going to spread the offense out, we're going to throw the ball a ton. I like that they're trying to play this way, because I think it's the only way Jalen Hurts is going to be effective in the NFL. Until he proves to me that he can throw the football down the field on an accurate basis. I just he made a couple of really nice plays on play action today. But yeah, a B. I give him a B. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd give him a B plus for today's game. I don't think he was asked to do a lot. Certainly missing that should have been a touchdown on the first drive comes back to bite him to Dallas Goedert. But overall, I thought he played well. He's obviously his best at a passer off of play action concepts, hitting those crossing routes to Devonta Smith.
Yep.
He made some really good plays with his legs, but I'm not going to inflate a quarterback grade too much for using his legs. I know he can do that. I need him to show me some other things. And he shows that in spurts, but he misses that in spurts too. And you're very right about the style of offense they're running. It's very much a high school type of offense. You can be good in that offense.
Yep.
You can't win a Super Bowl with that offense, though. And that's where the Eagles are going to be at. I think the Eagles, their schedule softens up. They're going to be able to win a few games. They may be able to convince a lot of people that Jalen Hurts is the guy. I'm always going to have concerns until he shows the ability to throw the ball down the field with accuracy over the middle of the field, those layered throws. I'm always going to have major questions about if they can actually take a playoff run utilizing this kind of an offense.
Agreed 100%. I just watched this offense, and it reminds me of watching him when he played at Alabama. I mean, they basically have gone to the Alabama tapes, and they're like, what did Nick Saban do to make this guy successful? And they're doing it. You look at the running backs he had when he was at Alabama, and then you also think about the fact that they just had the best players around him. So they've really dialed it back, and like you said, they can be successful with it, but they're not going to win when it matters in this type of offense.
Yeah, we've got some comments coming in from YouTube here. BoltFan44 says, good game. I always enjoy having people from the opposite team drop into the chat after the game, unless it's the Cowboys fans that come and talk trash. So good game to you guys. It was a fun one to watch. We've got Styles. Washington says that penalty from Derek Barnett really hurt. You know, when that happened, I actually thought that should be more of the game plan. Like, jump off sides, get them into short yardage so they think about running the ball, because you got no chance to stop them passing. I even tweeted out when we scored to tie it up with 6 minutes left, I said I would go for 2, because if you get it, you have the lead. And if you don't, maybe you get the Chargers to play conservative and run the ball, because that's the only chance we have to stop them. But that didn't happen. So we don't have good edge rushers. And what happened to Hargrave? Hargrave's out there. Hargrave, he's already tied his career high in the first few weeks. I think he's still playing at a high level, but I know Josh Sweat got hurt during the game, and so I think he was back out there, but a little gimpy afterwards.
Actually, I haven't looked at the tape yet. It hasn't gone through, but the thing that you have to look at too is Fletcher Cox has been more visual, so that means that more people are doubling Hargrave as well. So
right.
You're just seeing a bit more of Hargrave came out the gates like a bat out of hell, and now they're trying to, mitigate that by doubling him and giving Fletcher an opportunity to make plays, which he has. I also think that originally during the season they thought that they needed to double Fletcher Cox, and maybe they didn't need to, and now they realize they need to double Hargrave. So you're looking at something more like that. And to Bolts fan 44, thank you for commenting. Same as Shane. You guys have a really nice young quarterback, man. I'm happy for you, as somebody we won't see all the time.
Yeah, I'm glad he's not in the NFC East.
Damn right.
We've got Jay says, so glad Flyers won, the Sixers won, and Ben lost another $360,000. Made this Eagles loss a little more bearable. Another thing that made the Eagles loss a little more bearable for me was I had a sizable bet on the Chargers -1 in this game. So worked out for me.
Job this week.
Yeah. Job says, and the Cowboys also lost, and the Cowboys did. They kind of got embarrassed by the Broncos.
But. Yeah, what's that all about? Like, I mean, Shane, me to you right now, watching the Broncos today, because that was the 1:00 game. Like, I was watching that on Red Zone a lot. And, man, I really don't want to go play the Broncos, because we go out there, don't we?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's home or away, but yeah, I don't know how you trade Von Miller and then turn in that defensive performance, but that was kind of a crazy game. This was one of those weeks in the NFL. You have one every year where it's like, okay, we don't understand anything about football. Like the Raiders lose to the Giants, the
Yep.
Cowboys lose, the
Everybody's
Jags beat
suicide
the
poll's dead.
Bills. Like I don't even understand what I'm watching anymore.
Yeah, the Jags winning. You want to talk about suicide poll killing? Like it's over. Like
Oh yeah, anybody that survived the Jets beating the Bengals last week probably lost it on the Bills.
I've been throwing the Eagles under the bus a lot in that poll. So
Yeah,
I didn't last
J
week. I thought they'd squeak by the Lions, but
J Max says Jonathan Gannon lied on his resume. He has no idea how to coach a defense. Until we get a defensive coordinator, Eagles won't beat any team who has an offense. And Styles says, yeah, I don't think Gannon will have a job next season in the NFL. Maybe
I think,
make him our defensive backs coach. I mean, that's what he was in
yep.
Indianapolis. He did a good job at that, but yeah, it's not. He's not it for defensive coordinator.
If anybody out there has a copy of his resume with the references on it, I'd love to call him.
Yeah,
But no, seriously, I think you're right. I think D-backs coach is a more his lane. And I hate judging a guy when I literally believe, like we already said, that there is more talent on that defense this year. I agree with that. There is not more talent at the linebacker position. There really
right.
isn't. They are so limited there. It is it's awful. I mean, when you watch like the fact that I'm excited about how TJ Edwards played today, right? Like
Yeah.
that excited me and that reminded me how bad TJ Edwards is and how bad our linebackers are. And it just, oh, it's sad. It really is. They do not have a playmaker on that in that position field whatsoever.
And his style of defense needs that. And if you look at the Colts, they have that. And
Yeah,
so if you want to give Gannon another shot, you could convince me to do that, but you're going to have to spend one of those first round picks on a linebacker because it
absolutely.
obviously needs it for that defense to work.
So bringing up the first round pick, Shane, what do you think they should do going into this offseason with, let's just say they end up with 3 first round picks. And right now we're talking about 3 first round picks, two of which will definitely be inside the top 20, if not inside the top 15, and a third that should be inside the top 20, but maybe not. So three first round picks. What do you think they should do with them?
Well, I think you got to go get a quarterback. I think if there's a quarterback that you like in this draft, you get him. And given how this quarterback class looks, that doesn't necessarily have to be a top 2 or 3 pick. I mean, you look, the Patriots got Mac Jones at what, 14? The Bears got Justin Fields at 10. I think there's going to be guys in that mid first round that you can take. And at that point, it is a low cost investment. And I'm all about that. I'm not necessarily, there's nobody in this class right now I'm trying to trade up high to go get. But I do think you have to make an investment at the quarterback position. And one first round pick in the teens is not a high risk investment. That's not a high deal. The other two, I'm going to get defensive players. The defense needs help. It's very possible the wide receiver room needs help too. Devonta Smith looks like the real deal. Outside of that, Jalen Rager had 1 catch for -6 yards. And so Jay asked, do you trust Howie with 2, potentially 3 first round picks this year? Well, no, his first round pick from a year ago had less receiving yards than I did. So I don't, but it's kind of the boat we're in. What about you? What would you do with these picks?
Well, I'm not done asking questions.
Okay.
I got to ask. So, you're seeing a lot of talk right now. Adam Schefter's come out and made a couple of reports about the Eagles being interested in Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson because they have this potential 3 first round draft picks. Is that something you entertain? I'm just curious how you look at it.
Aaron Rodgers, no. Well, I take that back. Aaron Rodgers, he's a free agent after this year, right? Wasn't that
Yep.
part of his
Yeah.
contract that he's got
Right.
to? Okay. So yeah, sure, I'd go make a play for Rodgers. I'm not having to give up draft picks for him. I'd be willing to go out and sign him to a deal. You don't get the opportunity to add a Hall of Fame quarterback to your team that often, and so if you do that, it's easy to say like fix the team and then get the quarterback later. Nobody actually does that. Like a good quarterback covers a lot of holes, and Rodgers is a very good quarterback. Deshaun Watson, I'm not interested at all
Yeah.
for all the off the field reasons. On the field, I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the league, but I'm not touching that. Russell Wilson's tricky. He'll be 33 years old next year. It depends on what the asking price is. I'm not willing to give up 3 first-round picks to go get him. If I can give up 2 first-round picks and go get a 33-year-old who's a Hall of Fame guy, I'm probably heavily considering that.
Man, we were right on the same page there. When I look at that whole situation, like, yes, I would go get Rodgers in kind of a Brett Favre Jets-esque type of a grab and bring him in and try and change the culture a little bit. I'm not giving up draft picks, obviously, for that. Deshaun Watson, I'm not touching him with the longest pole you can put in my hands. There's just no reason to. The Russell Wilson thing is intriguing. Like, if somebody, I don't know if I want to give up 2 first-round picks for him in the same year. If they asked me to give up a pick this year and a first-round pick next year, and then maybe another pick this year in the 2nd or 3rd round, then I'm talking about it. I love the fact that there is a possibility of 3 first-round picks this year. I really like and obviously that all depends on what Howie does with those picks. But I really like the opportunity of taking 2 defensive players in the 1st round that are going to be impact guys moving forward. I mean, anybody who's watched the Eagles this year, if they look at this team and don't understand that the defense needs addressed, then they're not watching real football. So that's my take on it. But I was thinking about it all week. I was like, I hope I get to see Shane on the post game show when I ask him about this. So I love it. I love your take.
Yeah. Jay says if we go after Rodgers, the Eagles better stock up on nipple crystals and essential oils. Oh, that's good.
Well done, Jay. Well done.
And Andrew points out, an underrated thing we haven't talked about is the Chargers had a practice squad out there covering today. They had multiple cornerbacks missing. And I mean, the offense moved the ball at will, but it still is a little concerning that you have to rely so heavily on a run game against a pass defense that really is quite bad. I tweeted out during the game that the Eagles running the ball is such a good fit because it masks their 2 biggest weaknesses: their quarterback's inability to throw downfield and their entire defense. Yep. and I mean, I think that's what you saw, and I think it's what you're going to continue to see. The Eagles aren't going to be able to run like this every week, but I think they're going to have to try because the defense is just so bad. And because Hurts, he's just not at a place in his career where he can beat a team with his arm.
I think I posted. I want to see if I can find it here. I was tweeting the game for the Painted Lines. Oh darn it! I'm not gonna be able to find it. I posted a lot, but I just pointed out that this team needs to control the clock. Like. They can't put that defense out there with any aspirations of shutting teams down. So, you got to win ugly. That's the only that's the only way this team can win is winning ugly, and running the football, even if it means cloud of dust, 3 and out, but maintaining field position and not giving it away, not letting yourself get back on the 1-yard line and hoping for a 99-yard drive. I just don't know if they have that in them, especially early in games where if they haven't established the run, that happened to them today. They ran on the first play of the game, and I was like, nice. All right, we're right back where we were with the Lions, and then just threw, I think, 7 straight passes after that. And I thought to myself, you need to establish it, because without that, you don't set up the play fake. You don't set up anything that Jalen Hurts does well. So, yeah, they need to play that ugly offense. Like you said earlier, though, it's not getting them anywhere.
Yeah. So let's land the plane here. Ty, you got to give a game ball to somebody. Who's your MVP from the Eagles for today's game?
I mean, I got to give it to Jordan Howard. I mean, that's 2 weeks in a row. I did not look at his second half numbers, but in the first half, he averaged 5.4 yards a carry. And I don't think it dropped a whole lot in the second half. I'd say he probably still averaged about 5 yards a carry if you have the numbers in front of you.
Yeah, he ended up 17 for 71, 4.2 yards a carry, 1 touchdown.
All right. So, I mean, I thought that he played really well. I know they put Boston Scott in the game a lot when they're going to throw the football because he's a better run or better blitz pickup. But, that would be my guy right now in a game that I don't know really who you give it to on the Eagles side of the football. Justin Herbert gets game ball if you're, actually giving one out to somebody for real.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give mine to Devonta Smith. He has 5 receptions for 116 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yep.
Looks like the only guy on the field, honestly, that you can have faith in. So he gets the game ball for me. Defenses know coming in he's the number one threat, and he still goes over 100 yards. So I will give it to Devonta Smith.
I like it. I thought that catch that he made when he was like almost triple covered. It was kind of like a mixed zone where like a guy was coming in, saw the ball come, he had a guy on his trail, and Hurts threw a really good ball, but to catch that pass with all of that traffic was something we haven't seen an Eagles receiver do in a while. It's promising. I just I wish we could give him more opportunities straight down the field, but I just don't think Hurts throws that ball well.
Yeah, Eagles Fly said, "What about Goddard? We can trust him." That's right. I meant like in our wide receiver room, not necessarily just receiving in general. But I misspoke there. Yeah, I've got a lot of faith in Goddard. It wasn't the best Goddard game in terms of numbers, but I thought Goddard played well.
Dallas Goedert is a really good tight end that is God, I hate saying it like this, but he is a good quarterback away from being the best tight end in football, or at least in the conversation. He is a really good player. The fact that he almost caught that pass when he was wide open and Hurts just missed him. I mean, Hurts had somebody in his face, but I didn't think there was any chance he was bringing that in. And then all of a sudden it was like, holy crap, he almost did. That's a player that's going to really just continue to get better. And if we can get somebody that gets him the ball on a more consistent basis, he's a stud.
A Giants fan that I go back and forth with about Daniel Jones and him not being or being a franchise quarterback tweeted me after that. He tweeted me the photo of the ball just going off of Ertz's hands and then Daniel Jones' one-handed catch from last week. And I thought that was pretty funny. It gave me a good laugh at the beginning of the game there.
I mean, I'm not a Hurts fan, but Daniel Jones is not a franchise quarterback. They got a big win today. I don't know what Las Vegas team rolled in there at 1:00 today. It sounds like they hit the Strip too many hours before they took the plane over to Jersey. But Daniel Jones is not a quarterback that concerns me down the road at all. If the Eagles are ever a team to be reckoned with, Daniel Jones is not going to be the guy that stops them.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, well, let's wrap it up and we'll get out of here. Ty, tell the people where they can find your work.
You can find me at TyBook3 on Twitter or at PTP2021. We made an illustrious comeback 2 weeks ago. We had to take last week off because of some sick children. So this week we should be back to cover some golf on the Painted Lines YouTube site. Really pumped about that. And I'll be here hopefully every Sunday covering the Eagles. I love it.
All right. Yeah, give Ty a follow. He does a lot of great stuff. He'll really help you out with your golf game, though. Helped me out a little bit, too. So be sure you check that out. For me, check out my podcast, Chalk Talk, with Mark Henry Jr. We'll do a full week review show, usually on Tuesday nights, a full week preview show, usually on Thursday or Friday. So you can check that out. It goes out live the same places that this does and uploads to Apple Podcasts later. So be sure you check that out. Tune into the Painted Lines for all of their content. Make sure you smash that subscribe button wherever you're watching, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter. Thank you guys for joining us on this little bit of a letdown post-game podcast. Certainly not a 44-6 victory podcast like last week, but hopefully we'll get back to that. Yeah, Ty missed it. Maybe Ty's the curse. We'll stop having him on post-game shows. But for me, for Ty, for the Painted Lines, we'll see you guys next time.